Oh, what's up, everybody? Excuse me. Catching my throat. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. I love you, Bob. You're the best, man. You make me laugh all the time. Rumble Seat says, I've been trying to get in touch with you. Here's how we're going to start the skit. Okay. Hi. I've been trying to get in touch with you to go over the extended warranty for your shanty. Is it waterproof today? My striker suit was waterproof, beautifully waterproof. I put my back to it and was very comfortable. Wind's howling out of the east. My friend Don Terry said 2 days ago when we were together, he said, we're sitting there, it's 16 degrees, the wind's howling. We start catching perch right off the bat, and he goes, looks at me, he goes, if we were in the boat, it'd be 4-footers right now. And there was a part of me that went, I'd take it. And then there's a part of me that went, oh, I don't want, at least on the ice, you're not getting beat up in the waves. That's one thing I will say that the ice has an advantage over open water. And I guess the second advantage to that would be if you have a shanty with you, you have the ability, even today, you could have fished in this all day as long as safety was out of the, as long as everything was going to be safe. You could be in your shanty all day in this. And be perfectly comfortable. So I looked at the solar lunar table on my phone this morning, which I'm taking that app and all of that out of my phone, because if I look at it, I let it get in my head, good or bad. And usually the results are never, great. And it said poor. And I looked at it after my second spot where I'd caught one perch about this big. And was on my way. I just sat down at my third spot, drilled my holes and everything. And I'm like, I wonder. Why did I have to wonder? There's a front right now. It's raining. This wasn't supposed to come in till noon today, and it's 10:30 now. It's been raining for at least 2 hours. It was almost instant when I got out there, but for the first hour and a half, it was a really light sprinkle, and the wind was blowing hard enough that you didn't, it didn't bother you. I had 9 inches of ice still walking out this morning, even though it was 32, 34 degrees. Everything was solid, and this was all wet yesterday. I was here. There was standing water everywhere. When I walked out this morning, there was 0. It is right back to standing water again. The ice. I'm here off 3 Mile again, parking at the end of Toad Harbor Road, and it's good, solid, clear ice. And I'm only going to comment on what I know. And this morning, so I was supposed to meet a friend of mine, and we were going to go off of Lewis Point. We were getting there super early, and even him last night. Now I haven't been down there all season. I told him, I said, I'm not walking out in the dark on ice that I have not been on yet or wasn't on the day before. So he's like, well, we'll let somebody else go out first. And I'm like, well, that's not the point. The point is I'm not doing that. And there was unrelated to that conversation, this morning plans changed and he couldn't make it. So then I'm like, well, I'm definitely not going to Lewis now, because I know Lewis Point from open water. I don't know it from ice. I'm sure there'd be other guys there I could meander over in that general area. find my bottom, look around. I have my camera, I have all that stuff, but I just wasn't doing it. So then I'm like, okay, well, I went over. I'm like, well, I'll go over to Taft Bay Park, and walk out right there. It's not too far to hit the drop off. Okay, it seemed like a reasonable plan. I went to the tackle shop because now I was alone, and I really did want to get out into deeper water and really see if I could target walleye specifically. Obviously, perch if they were there. So I stopped and bought bait this morning at the place in Brewerton. Although, they did not have. Yeah, that was it. So I got minnows. Off I went. I get to Taft Bay Park, and there's nobody there. It's already light at this point. I didn't leave the house till after 6. It's already light at this point, and there's not a soul there, not a car, truck, nobody out in front. And I'm like, I haven't been on that ice yet either. And if nobody's here, maybe there's a reason. So I'm like, okay. So now I'd already come through Constantia. There was nobody off Constantia by Nice and Easy or Circle K, whatever it's called now. I go to Taft Bay Park, nobody there. I'm like, well, I'll go down. I was going to go to Godfrey. I'm like, well, I'll go to the old Velas right in Cleveland and look. You'd be able to see if anybody was out off the bar, whatever. And I'm going into Cleveland, and I got distracted with a squirrel moment because the donut shop was open, country glazed. So I stopped and bought my wife and I a half dozen donuts. Seriously, I only had one just because I smelled them and then I couldn't not eat them. The great people at Country Glazed have such a great product. Such a great product. Their donuts are delicious, and I had that and a chocolate milk this morning. And so I went down, after I left there, I went down to Velas, and there wasn't a soul down there. I didn't see a single shack either side of Cleveland and as far east as I could see. And the ice looked, I'm sure it was solid, but it had been chunked up a lot. Probably still left over. I don't know if it was left over from last Friday. There was nobody there, and I wasn't going out. So I'm like, okay. I turned around and come all the way back to North Shore, and I came right back to Toad Harbor because I was here yesterday. And so for me, that made me feel comfortable, especially being alone and no one really knowing where I was. So I'm only going to tell you what I know, and that is this morning I measured 9 inches off Toad Harbor, and I was out today. I didn't go as deep. I was in 14 foot of water today off the drop off, and I was just back west of the point. Most of the guys are on the drop off east of the point, running along that, and the machine people had been running along that drop off almost to Little Grassy. That's the cliffs of Monroe. If anybody watched my videos back the first year I started doing them. You ever hear me say I was fishing the cliffs? That's the cliffs, because from 3 Mile Point all the way to Constantia, there's the shelf offshore, and it's 7-8 feet, maybe 9. And then you hit the shelf and it goes whoop, almost straight down to 20. Down in the farther, well, and then when you get farther east of it, the gut between Long and Little Grassy, it's 32 feet in there. So that cliff goes all the way down the North Shore, off Doris Park, and then goes like this. It makes a turn to the south, and it does one of these, because and it's funny. What I love about contours is, like on this lake, everything was coming east to west, glacially. or I don't know how much glacial activity was here at this Oneida Lake's in a natural valley. And back after the Ice Age, it was probably, God, 400 or 500 feet deep and as wide as from the hills in Camden all the way to the hills south of Cazenovia. And if you're on either of them, you can see, and it's gradual, but it's just a big, deep valley. And at one point, that was filled to the brim with water. Probably giant walleyes, if I had to guess. They're probably like dinosaur walleyes. Imagine sticking one of them with you're jigging along, just an easy I-1 blade bait, bouncing along the bottom in 500 foot of water, and then whoa! Take the caveman and his dugout canoe and everything right to Davy Jones' locker. That's probably a lot of talking. Bill Morey. Nope, we're rolling. Rob H. Good morning. Mark Webb. Mark, I'm not going out in it. I just came in from it. David Gould. Good morning. Scott DeGata. Merlin, you keep telling me it's afternoon. It's 10:30 in the morning, my friend. Unless there's a special wizard time that I don't know about, which is possible. I mean, you are a wizard. Paul Komrowski, good morning. Any finish possible, good morning. Kevin Stone, Jim G. Not sure. What'd you say, Bill? Not sure I'll feel like ice is good enough for me this Sunday, but I know the Ice Bowl on Saturday night will be awesome. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. Hey, at the very least, we can all get together and commiserate and talk about ice fishing and have a fun 4 hours. You know, this is, I don't know, like I'm born and raised here. You know, I was born at Upstate or Krause Irving or wherever, up on the hill. In 1971, I've lived here my whole life except for 4 years when I was in Uncle Sam's sleepaway camp. I don't ever remember a winter like this. And maybe those with better memories, I would love to know, and I haven't looked it up yet, and maybe somebody Googles. So far, is this the warmest winter on record in upstate New York? I don't know. I just have never seen anything like this. I smelled a skunk this morning. There was a skunk on 49 somewhere. I smelled it this morning. And it was ripety ripe. I can't remember where it was. It was on 49 between Central Square and Cleveland. This weather is just, I'm sitting here and it's 34 degrees and rain, and it feels like March, end of March. You know, like I'd be out trolling for brown trout in this. And instead I was ice fishing, trying to, because it's February. Crazy. Crazy for feeling right. That's never a good sign when you're by yourself. Yeah, right, Rob. My immediate, spidey senses said, why would you go where no one else is? For like a variety, a cornucopia of reasons. Anthony Delamore. Anthony. Oh, everybody, if everybody's got 2 seconds, throw some goodness out in the world to Anthony's daughter Emma. She's the toughest kid that I've never met her personally, I don't think so. She's fighting a battle that none of us can really imagine, and she's doing it, and she smiles all the time. So Tony and his wife are there with her, and she has treatments regularly, and it would wipe out normal people, and Tony says she keeps right on going. It warms my heart and breaks it at the same time, because of the courage and the strength that she has, and of course the break I want everybody to be healthy and happy. Everybody, all the time. Like, my goal in life is to make that happen for everybody. I love making people happy and laugh and have fun. I'm a people pleaser, man, and she goes through more than I could imagine, and she stays that way. That positivity is what's keeping her going, and it's wonderful, and I love seeing it. That's the donut she wanted. Oh, morning, George. I don't know what's going on with the horse trading of food in the middle of the live feed. Good morning, Tammy. Good morning, John. But there's some stuff going on here. Yeah, Kevin, skunks are a sign that yes, that's why I said it. I mean, it feels, Chris, you're going to start seeing crocuses and stuff, tulips coming up. And then the worst thing is that that's when you have those killing frosts in the spring and in the cold snaps, because all this is pressure and temperature, and all it's got to do is change slightly, or that Arctic mass has got to build strength, and you could be right back into full-blown brutal winter for 6 more weeks, easy, so you don't know what's going to happen. Dinosaur walleye are fun, I'm sure of it. Morning, Paul. All right, so Kevin Stone just said bears near Piseco are out of hibernation. So when we were up to Schroon Lake over the weekend, the second day especially, we were down in the southern part of the lake, and the walls around the lake were much steeper right there, and it's not a big lake. It's wide, width anyways. And I'm sitting there watching, and I'd already asked like the tourist questions to the guys that are from up there that we were fishing with. I'm like, is there any moose around here? I've never seen a moose. And they're like, here and there. And then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, I don't want to say it because then I'll be a dummy. I'm like, I wonder if the bears even went in. There was very little snow up there, and I wondered if the bears even went into hibernation. And I don't really know the biological reason for hibernation for them, but I would assume if they had unlimited food source to get them through the winter, they wouldn't need to hibernate through the winter. I don't know. And I thought to myself, I wonder if they even hibernated, let alone if they were out early. That's a great point, man. Nice hot breakfast. Bell rang, time to start class. I'd make a terrible teacher because I'd be like, all right, get in and shut up, sit down. What you flapping your lips? And that would have, and when I was in high school, that would have only made me louder. So, all right, I'm getting out of here and going home. You guys have a great day. Weekend's in sight. I'm going to see everybody Saturday night. Do me a favor today, please share the ice bowl with everybody. Like I said earlier, I don't know. I mean, we'll still be fishing in spots. on Saturday. It's not this. There's 9 inches of solid ice. It's not going away overnight. That doesn't mean it'll stay safe the whole time. So be careful. But like I said, we can all get together and tell stories about the last good ice fishing trip we had. Oh man, Southern Sky came up from South Carolina to fish this week, sitting watching the rain. Man, I know. When you plan trips and stuff, and it's not something you can just go do in the day and go back home. When you have to plan a trip, that means you have to take what it gives you, because you got to go. Because if everybody that planned a trip waited until it was the absolute peak time to do something, and either A, you'd never go, or B, everybody would be glommed down to 1 week, and then what's the point, You put your finger on the calendar and you hope for the best. But I feel for you, man. I've been on the other side of this. Nothing worse than used to be in the summer. You'd lose a trip because of wind, mostly because of wind on Lake Ontario. And if you got blown off that morning during salmon season and you had to tell your customers who were already there, sometimes you can. The problem with doing it early is it's so unpredictable that it might you might have been able to do it. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't in that business. But you feel terrible saying to somebody, listen, we can't go out, it's just too rough, it's not safe. And knowing you have no place else to put them in the calendar, they're already here, and they stayed someplace, they paid for half their vacation and didn't get to do the other half. And man, I never took that lightly, ever, because I would have been devastated, and so I knew. And you make sure that nothing goes wrong other than something that's unavoidable. I hope you guys get out, Southern Sky. Just Paul, John Karnowski, typically fishing. Nat Lussey, all good morning. Tony, I wish I had more to do for her than kind words, my friend. All right, I love you guys. I'm getting out of here. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Not sure from where, but somewhere. Have a great day. Have a great day. Remember what's really important in life. Start with yourself. Valentine's Day's coming up. Love yourself for a few minutes. Talk to yourself like you would talk to somebody you love. See what happens. Send good out, it comes back. I know the fishing world's talking about these guys that cheated again being back in the news for something else. Listen, you get back what you put out, and you got to be real careful about what you choose. And whatever's going on with those people, whether it's a result or was the pattern all along, those you got to be careful what you put out there. Put out good, good comes back to you. Have a great day, guys. I love you. Keep it tipping.